Hello everybody, SpiritGaming here, and in this video guys, we will be making a complete gunslinger guide. Of course, in this video especially, we will take a look at some stats, or I guess some builds that even low level players can run, because I know there are a lot of ACA players right now, and those guys will want that. By the way, timestamps down in the description for every single thing you want to know. So if you don't want to watch the whole video, although it helps, you can actually just skip through the video and look at what you want. But in this video, we will be taking a look at the, as I said, complete gunslinger guide, and the topics are what is actually a stable stat, because that is going to be very important for your build. Then we will take a look at the gear stats, core setup, set piece opinions, my opinions of course, because I can't really test them out, of course, that's kind of impossible for me at the moment. Then we'll be taking a look at allies, orange Draconics, yellow Draconics, and last but not least, well, not really last, but we will take a look at the plans, aka talents, deep talents, and EX abilities, and at the end we will take a look at some pretty important skill rotations that you want to run for PvE, although for PvP there are not that many skill rotations because every PvP fight is totally different. You cannot do the same thing over and over again. Well, in PvE you definitely can. So, but before we start, guys, huge thank you to all of you. We have passed 1.4k sub mark. That's amazing. As I said in my community post, I would like to see 2000 subs on my channel by the end of June, and you guys are definitely making it possible. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It does help me a lot. My channel is basically based on guides, I guess. Most of the time I do place guides. If you want to know something about the game, I 90% of the things I already have a guide on. Like a lot of things I have a guide on, so search through my channel if you want to find some guide. And also like the video for more people to see it, and it actually helps me tremendously. Of course, not because it gives me money, but because I get more exposure. The more the video is liked, the more the video is shown to other people. Also, leave a comment down below if you think I did something wrong, but you know, you guys should kinda know what you're talking about, so yeah, let's leave it at that. And then also a huge shout out to Lulleh, because a bunch, yeah, not a bunch of things, like two or three things, yeah, two things I guess with the stats are taken from his channel, I guess from his video that he made on the analytics with crit versus cooldown reduction. So I will link down his channel or his video down in the description below, so go check it out if you don't believe me, because that guy is a stat maniac and he knows a lot about this game and has tested a lot of things as well. So without any further ado, I know this intro was pretty long, but as I said, timestamps down below in the description if you want to skip through the intro. Okay, let's start with what a stable stat actually is. Okay, a stable stat is basically if let's say I must have, for my class, just taking as an example, I must have 37,000 power reduction. Okay, no, 34,000, right? So that basically means I can, right now at the moment, I can basically switch up my core, my gear stats with cooldown reduction. I don't need 3000 cooldown reduction. I basically can switch out one cooldown reduction stat for anything else I want. Okay, so that is basically a stable stat. A stable stat is basically if you switch out a core or a gear stat, you will still have the threshold of an example. For example, for the Gunslinger, you will always want to have 50,000 crit level. After that, it's not really that important, okay? That is the threshold you want to always have. And let's say if you have 9 win cores and you have 55,000 crit level, you can basically change 5 of those cores for another different core, and you still will be doing very well. So that's pretty important, so keep that in mind. Next up, let's look at the gear stats. For gear stats, you want physical attack, wind attack, AP, dexterity, and then crit level. But now keep in mind, when your crit level is stable 50,000, you want to start changing up your crit level for cooldown reduction and dexterity for insight. The same goes for the core now. For the core you want 9 wind, 5 fire, 2 water, but that's only until you reach 50,000 stable crit. After that, you slowly want to transfer to 9 fire, 5 water and 2 wind, which you will always use for every single class out there later on. And next but not least, we will have set piece opinions. These are my opinions, especially for the free-to-play players, I guess. If you don't have 50,000 crit yet, go for 6 fairy string and 2 wolf, because fairy string gives you dexterity, okay? While Wolf gives you strength, and that's when that yes, that set comes in place. If you have 50,000 stable crit level, you want then to switch to 6 wolf to fairy strength. For that, a lot of strength. It does give you like 1,000 strength, which is amazing. Okay, and that's basically about it, about my set piece opinions, my core opinions. Not opinions. This is basically literally facts and your stat facts. Okay. Next up, we have allies. For allies, always run Airy. But now I'm gonna talk about a very good alternative, okay? If you're free to play like me and don't have many 6-star allies, you may or may not have seen Kolachime in your inventory, in your ally gallery, right? This is what I. Oh, no. I switched just to test some things out. This is what I actually use. Okay, why do I use these guys? Of course, most of the classes definitely want crit level, okay, high crit level, and this is where College Median comes in place. With the passive, you get crit level, crit percent level. With the EX, if you hit a target with the EX of Chimeigen, you basically make them do 3% reduced damage for 10 seconds. And if you hit a whale with this, he will do 30% less damage, which is amazing. But this is where the ultimate comes in place, guys. Now, this is a tier 4 Chimigan. Of course, at the beginning, it's only increased by 10% or 15%, I'm not really sure, but next year I'm gonna have it to 25%. And basically what this means is a technique that comes from Chimeigan's tutoring increase the character's critical damage by 20%. And as I said, every single class out there wants crit level, high crit level, right? This basically means, especially as Gunslinger, this is gonna be completely very useful. And I did actually test something out. The ultimate abilities of center allies actually have a 1 minute cooldown. So every 1 minute you will have 20% increased uh, crit damage for 10 seconds, which is pretty amazing when it comes to comparing to some other allies, even some 6-star allies. So keep that in mind, okay guys, that is pretty important. Next up, I won't talk about Chimigan that much anymore, but I will start talking about Eri now. Eri in the center, for supports you want Mingzilu, Anju, and Nono. And then my suggestion is, personally, I would like to see you have for the support Luminous, because he does have a bond with Eri, and also he gives a lot of survivability. But then Caesar comes in mind, that gives you CC immunity, which is pretty important for this class. If you get CC, then don't have anything else to basically jump you out of CC, you're kinda dead. You don't have any defenses. And next up we have Chise again for the bond, okay? So either Luminous, Caesar, or Chise again for that bond. As I said, my personal opinion is Luminous is gonna be the best. Next up, let's look at the Draconics. Of course, everything will be on the screen, so don't worry about that. For the orange Draconics, we want for the weapon Fatal Strike, for the head Assassin Principles, for the clothes, you want Unbreakable Will. For the gloves, you want Hella Smile, Pants, Little Restriction, Boots, Wind Tamer, Necklace, Killshot, and Ring, Whispers of the Ancient God. For the yellow Draconics, you want for the weapon Odin's Red, Head, Royal Covenant, clothes, Nighthawk's Roar, gloves, Guidance of Fate, pants, The Hermit of History, boots, Endless Thirst, necklace, Energy Optimization, and ring, Scout's Decisiveness. And that's basically about it. Those are the best, I guess, Draconics that you can have. And now, guys, for the most important part of the video, we will be taking a look at the plans, of course. So, for PvP, this is kind of 90 plus, level 90 plus, I would say. To be honest, all of these builds, all of these 3 builds are 90 plus, and then we have the low level one, which we will take a look at the end, of course. Now, this is the crit PvP build. Of course, at level 90, you will at least have 40,000 crit level, like I do, and I did not focus it that much, of course. You will want to run this right here, this talent tree right here. Precision strike, a must have for crit builds. Pulsing Wind, it's an awesome thing to have. Probably the best out of all in slot. It's not the like the best thing in the world, but it's way better than all the rest. Then one Sneak Attack, again, not the best thing in the world, although it's pretty good. It's way better than the rest. And then you want Infinite Firepower for that charging of the energy, right? Also, you do take a lot less damage, which is amazing as well. And if you're going in group PvP, the more enemies you hit, the more energy is recharged, which is amazing as well. Next up, let's take a look at advanced talents, right? Deep talents. You want to have, okay, as of right now, I have 25,000 points. 25 points, not 25,000 points, but 25 points. And maximum you will have 30 points or 32. I'm not really sure, but I think it's around 30 points, maybe in 32, but we will go with 30 points for now. You always want to have target weakness, rapid fire. You want sniper soul. You want sneak attack for that extra mobility. Then we want aim assist 80x because for PvP it's quite needed. Your hit rate increases by 10%, of course on all things, not just on the machine gun form. And then you want static feedback for that extra energy recovery, which is pretty important. Okay, so now we have 5 talent points left. You can basically use them on Mark 0 high explosive, of course. You spam normal attacks, you spam pulse bomb as well, which is pretty amazing, okay? It's an okay thing, but compared to the other ones, it's not the best, right? And that's why with the ones that you have left, you want to go with this, and then if you have 2 left, you want to go with Wind Barricade, which is an interesting one as well. So yeah, that's basically it for EX options. Okay, right now Devil Wind, of course, for PvP always Devil Wind, but then we have this Quartz slot, the other EX slot, right? I have seen many people go with Ray of Fire because it reduces enemy damage and actually lasts for a longer amount of time than Scorch does, but then again, you kind of want to do a lot of damage as well. That is where Scorch is better. Depending on, I would kind of suggest for free-to-plays to go with Royal Fire, because even if a free-to-play player reduces an enemy whale's damage by 10% dealt, it's gonna be pretty cool, right? So either one run Royal Fire or Scorch. Personally, I like Scorch because it does give me a lot of damage, although as I said, Royal Fire is very good as well. Next up, we will go with the Energy PvP build. I have seen some people run this build, of course. Oops, I kind of messed it up. Okay, I want this right here. I have seen a bunch of people run this build, of course, it's pretty good. This build is basically based on getting as much energy as you possibly can and then spamming your pulse bomb as much as you possibly can. Of course, the cost becomes higher, but with the talents that give you a lot more energy, you can basically spam this anyways, right? And that is when, okay, firepower gives you a lot of energy. Charge implosion gives you a lot of energy. Explosive rounds gives you a lot more damage when using that energy, and sneak attack is basically the best in slot, okay? Then we go to the deep talents. Now this is where this is kind of even better than it was before. Okay, so you want to have 5 target weakness, 5 rapid fire, and of course 5 mark all high explosive. Then another must is static feedback, okay? Then we have the sniper soul, which you will be far away always. You want to try to stay as far as you possibly can always. Then you want 5 of these, 3 of these, and at the end, if you have enough, I'm not sure if you will have enough, you want 2 in Wind Barricade, which is gonna be pretty useful as well. Again, for your this is pretty fun build, to be honest. You basically spam pulse bomb like a lot, but when it comes to having high crit level, this is still gonna be better, to be honest. And this is basically not this is basically the go-to tree for everyone, the go-to plan for everyone. I think it's better than energy PvP, although as I said, this is very fun when you deal huge amounts of damage with pulse bomb. Okay, next up we have the PvE build. Okay, the PvE build right now is almost the same as the crit PvP build, of course. We have precision strike. Let me go here. Precision strike, pulsing wind, sneak attack, and then one big change is focused bombardment. Okay, English. Okay, this basically does quite a bit more damage. Orbital bombardment does a lot of damage, especially because in PvP players can actually dodge this, but when in PvE enemies cannot dodge this, which is very important. Next up, we have the build right here as well. To be honest, I'm not sure why I put this here, but I think it's best in slot, to be honest. There are not that many better ones when it comes to PvE, so I kinda had to put it here. You don't really spam pulse bomb that much in this build. You do kinda, but not really. So we have 5 target weakness, 5 rapid fire, 5 Marco high explosive. Then we have sniper soul, and then we have static feedback, which are a must. These two are basically a must. Then, of course, let's say you are running Clash of Swords, you want to run this instead of this. But if you're running Dragon Slayer, you want to run this instead, okay? That's literally it. If you are in Dragon Slayer or anywhere that you cannot get any buffs, you want to run Armor Piercing Shell. It's kinda useless, but it's best in slot than the other ones. And then if you are going with Clash of Swords, because there are actually buff runes out there, and in crossover PvP there are buffs there as well, even in Letter of Honor, you basically want to get this instead. Um, of course, not Letter of Honor, I mean, yeah, this is a PvE build, right? So in Clash of Swords, excuse me, in Clash of Swords you want to get Runic Affinity. Okay, that's basically it for the now for the PV build. Scorch is a must, of course, gives you the most amount of damage, because you don't really need to Royal Fire someone to deal less damage to you. Also, Hawkeye is a pretty must in PV as well. And that's basically about the PV build. And now lastly, for the build that all SEA players were waiting for, is the low level build, okay? I basically made this to have 18 points of the 18 deep talent points, okay? So right now, what you want to do is go with charging core, explosive rounds, sneak attack, and infinite power. Now this build is kind of different than the rest, like very different than the rest. With this build, you want first to max out every single like point of your energy, and always keep it at half, okay? Always keep it at half for every single 10 seconds, okay? So every 8 seconds you want to have that energy maxed out. But then again, as I said, explosive round, it's gonna be useful again. Infinite firepower is a must, and sneak attack is a must as well. Um, I'm not sure how to explain this well. Of course, you can run Charge Implosion, but the reason why I made this low level thing is because not many players have a big crit level, right? And if you don't have a big crit level, this is kind of bad. And also, crit damage does not work that well for you, anyways. That is why the energy build is gonna be better than the crit level build. Of course, as I said, if you are well and you have a lot of crit level, you can go with the other builds as well. It does not matter. But when you don't have that much crit level, this is the way you want to go. Of course, as I said, every 8 seconds you want to have that full energy bar, okay? Full energy bar, you always want to have that. And basically that increases all your damage dealt by 20%. Not just your crit damage, but all damage dealt by 20%. But of course, it's kind of slow to max out, but whatever, it's what it is. Next in deep talents, of course, as I said, I try to get it as close as possible to the low level ones, aka level 80 people. So target weakness, of course, max out, rapid fire max out, then you want sniper soul max out, and then you have sneak attack maxed out. Of course, you don't want to run sneak attack in PvP, you want to run aim assist, but of course, this is basically useful as well for that extra mobility, so you might even want to run that sometimes in PvP as well. But as I said, then hit percent is kind of good because every single class out there has a percentage to dodge, so negating that is pretty useful, especially. Also, if you're running, depending on what you're running, PvP or PvE, you want to run either Hawkeye for PvE, or for PvP, you want to run Devil Winds. Of course, also always change up Warmonger for PvP, Drone Slayer for PvE as well. And yeah, that's basically it about the guide, I guess. Now let's take a look at some different skill rotations. Of course, the best skill rotation is going to be the skill rotation we are actually going to be talking about is going to be the PV rotation, which is a very, very big thing. Right, everybody, so now let's go to the PvE skill rotation, which is going to be pretty important. Keep in mind you want to attack 4 times with your actual guns. That means you want to attack 2 times with this, of course, and then also keep in mind this ability is not going to be used at all. To be honest, this ability for the PV build is not going to be used at all. Of course, if we did use this right here, wait, why am I using this? Okay, no, it just backed out. Okay, if we used this ability right here, we would have used it, but we don't. So yeah, we won't use it at all because it deals less damage and we don't have a chance to proc our fast attacks. So what you want to do is basically attack 2 times with normal attacks. So attack, attack, boom, attack, attack, another ability, attack, attack, another ability, attack, attack, another ability. And now wait up until you charge the whole thing. You score, if rapid fire appears, so there's a chance this skill rotation won't work like that. If rapid fire appears, you don't want to use any other abilities and want to just normal attack, okay? But if it does not appear, then you immediately want to use Scorch. You want to go to invisibility, you want to use your EX ability and then fully use your A particle cannon. This is very important, okay? And then basically repeat the process. To be honest, that's what you want to do. You always, the main thing of this right here is you always want to use any ability after you do this. Attack, attack, ability. Attack, attack, ability. Attack, attack, ability, okay? That is very, very important. You basically get way more damage dealt that way. Of course, on the screen I will kind of show the skill rotation. Maybe even do a time-lapse video. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the skill rotation to explain it well enough. I'm really not sure how to explain skill rotations, to be honest. I'm bad at that. But as far as you guys saw, okay, so right now we have zero stamina, zero energy, right? Attack, attack again, use another ability, attack, attack, use another ability, attack, attack. Now rapid fire appeared. That's amazing, right? So you don't want to use anything this time. Attack, attack, use bomb, attack, attack, use bomb, use scorch, go invisibility, use your throw party. We can, of course, we had our EX ability on cooldown, but if we didn't, we would have wanted to use that as well. But that is literally about the PvE skill rotation. You always want to use that. And as I said, if you ever get that rapid fire ability from the deep talents, of course, lower level than 80 level players won't have this. If you guys have this, of course, you don't want to stop this, okay? You basically want to attack for 6 more seconds with normal attacks only. And that's basically it. Now for the PvP build, the only thing, as I said, you want to keep track of is your... it's very hard to just show a PvP skill rotation because every single PvP out there is gonna be different against every single player. So the main thing you guys want to focus on is, of course, attacking 2 times and using ability, attacking 2 times using an ability, attacking 2 times using ability, attacking 2 times using ability, and then of course you don't want to use particle cannon anymore. With this build you don't want to use particle cannon because in PvP enemies can just dodge this and you will waste all your energy and all your time and your speed as well. So never in your life use this ability right here, okay? Please, for the love of God, don't use this ability in PvP. Of course, unless you're in bombs, and then you have someone aimed at. But to be honest, spamming your pulse bomb is gonna be way, 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 way better, okay? It's gonna be way better. Of course, even in the PvP build, I forgot to mention, after you use your particle cannon, you have 30 seconds or more cooldown on that ability. So while that's on the cooldown, you always want to spam pulse bomb as well, okay? This is a very important thing I totally forgot to mention, so sorry about that, but you want to do that as well. As you saw here, I'm using my rapid fire for 6 seconds. I think it's gonna attack one more, yep. And I basically killed the boss. But that's basically it about the video, guys. As I said, I'm really not sure how to explain the skill rotations. Of course, as I said, you want to auto attack 2 times, ability, 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 charge your particle cannon, use all your EXS, go invisibility, use particle cannon. After that, you want to attack 2 times, use this, attack 2 times, use this, attack 2 times, use another ability, go back, attack 2 times, use this again, until of course your A particle cannon is back up. Depending on how fast you can charge up your A particle cannon, it basically, you kind of have to figure that out on your own. It all depends on cooldown reduction. For example, I have quite a bit of cooldown reduction for a Gunslinger, so yeah, that's basically about it. So yeah, guys, thank you all so much. If you have any skill rotation suggestions or anything like that, be sure to leave them down in the comments below. Of course, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more Dragon Raja content. I try to do daily videos of everything, I guess. I am really invested in YouTube right now, and you guys are showing huge support, to be honest. As I said in the beginning of the video, we are getting close to 1.5k subs, which is like amazing numbers. I never thought I would get there. And then we are very close to 2000 subscribers. We are, yeah, as I said, I'm asking you guys to subscribe to hit that mark by the end of June. And yeah, Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, bye bye, guys.